What's up YouTube? AJ Almighty back at it again with another video. As you can see by the title, I did end up purchasing a Harley-Davidson. So if you've been watching the content or staying tuned, you see that I just bought the Bully, the Suzuki M109 about 2 or 3 months ago, and the bike was fun. The bike was cool. I mean, my main reason for buying the bike is because that's the only bike I've seen for most of my youth. That's a bike that my dad's had for over 10 years now at this point. So when you kind of grow up seeing something all the time, it's kind of what you grow a love for. Like, if your dad drives a Chevy, normally you're gonna probably end up buying a Chevy. If your dad drives a Suzuki M109, you're gonna buy M109. So the two main bikes that I've always seen my dad have for a majority of my life is a TL1000 and a Suzuki M109. So when it was time for me to buy actually a full-size bike, because before this channel was created, I actually had a Kawasaki Z125 Pro. That was the first bike that I originally bought, but I bought it because it was cheap and convenient for me to get. I was only going right up the street to cut hair and come back home, so it wasn't really a need for me to buy a big bike at the time. And at the time, I just didn't have enough money to buy anything else. So when it was time for me to upgrade and get an actual full-size bike, something to cruise on and something to take longer trips on, my first thought was to buy an M109 because it's pretty much all that I've seen. And I knew going into it, I really don't hang with a lot of people that do ride. So if I was going to ride, it was going to be with him or somebody he knew majority of the time. So that's why I kind of chose what I chose. All right, now that we got that out the way, let me give you the reasons why I decided to switch bikes. So the times we have been riding, it's normally been with Terry, and Terry has a CVO Street Glide. So that's what kind of started drawing my attention to the Harleys. I see, he has more comfort, actually has the stereo and other things like that. So the bike, as we're riding, I can tell he's enjoying the ride a lot more than we're enjoying the ride, because the Suzuki M109 just doesn't have any wind protection or any music to, like, you have to purchase those upgrades. So that leads me into why I decided to sell the bike. Mainly, the bike is the same from the first year they made it to current model year. There's only a couple changes where the tachometer or whatever is mounted, it's not on the handlebars anymore, it's behind the headlight. But pretty much other than that, the bike's been the same for every year model they made. Like, just paint color is the only difference really. So what I was saying with my main reasons for selling the bike, number one reason was just all around comfort. The bike, like for a street cruiser, a bar hopper, it works. Like if you're going from here to here, short distance rides, it's cool. But long distance rides, like when we rode up to Conroe, like an hour and a half from Houston up to Conroe, like that hour and a half ride, it just wasn't comfortable because first of all, the wind protection, you don't have a full fairing in the front or a windshield to protect you from the elements. So when it's crosswinds or the wind or it's a little bit cold, it's not comfortable to ride long distance. And the seating position on it is forward controls, but they're not forward enough. Like I feel like on the M109 it hovers somewhere in between a forward control and mid controls. Like it's forward, but it's not forward enough for my height. If you're probably a little bit shorter, it's probably more comfortable for you. So like long distance rides, since there's no highway pegs on the bike already stock, then you just have to, we kind of would just set our foot on top of the foot peg to get a little bit more extra room. I mean, you can purchase, like I said, the windshield. That's going to cost you a couple $100. Forward controls, it's going to be almost $600 to move the pegs like 4 inches forward to make it more comfortable to ride long distance. But as I go along, you're going to see that the price of these upgrades to get it to Harley quality of bike is just costing too much. It's going to cost you too much to upgrade that bike to what you could already purchase, and you're not going to see that money back when you go to sell the bike. All those upgrades, you're not going to see a return on that money. Like those modifications, that's money you just flushing down the toilet. So the windshield, big problem because there's no wind protection and you get knocked around. Foot controls, they're in a bad spot for me. They could be in a good spot for somebody else. I would need them pushed forward a little bit more. So the Harley having the mid controls, or like mid but a little bit forward, but the the angle at which your legs are on that bike is way more comfortable for long distance riding. The seat on the M109 isn't stock seat. I mean, yeah, you can upgrade it, but like I said, it's gonna cost you money. The stock seat on there is not comfortable for long distance. It's cool if you're going 30 minutes, an hour. Hour max is as long as I wanted to stay on that bike. Hour, then get off. And, you know, fill up, get something to eat, or whatever you gotta do. But anything over an hour and a half on that bike just wasn't comfortable. Another issue I have with the bike is the bike has no highway bars. For, you know, for what you're spending, you would want to have highway bars, not only in case you drop the bike, but to do additional modifications. Like, the bike comes with no protection for if you lay it over. And I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to lay their bike over, but it's kind of like, it's how it goes. You know, anything can happen. So you would need to upgrade that bike with highway bars to either install the Rush Bikes, because I wanted to do the Rush Bikes kit to add music, because it's just, you know, it's boring. If you're riding by yourself with no music, it's not fun to do. So you need the highway bars to A, protect the bike, and B, to get some sound out of it. But the Rush Bikes kit is like $1,500, $1,600, and I just don't see the necessity to spend the money when there's better options out there. So that's number 3. No music or highway bars, no windshield, and the foot controls were an issue. Also, getting a way to charge the phone. I have the RAM phone mount on my handlebars on that bike, but once your phone starts dying, then okay, now you got to turn around if you're going somewhere you don't know where you are. It's not a problem if you know, in the area and you know where you're at, but if you're going up to somewhere that you don't know where you are, having to carry a charger just because so you can plug in at a gas station or something, it's just not convenient. So, which is not, like I said, all of these upgrades are not major deal breakers, but it's almost like death by 1,000 cuts. Like, okay, I gotta add so many little small parts that this is gonna run up to almost $5,000 in upgrades, and by that time MSRP on the M109 is like 15, 16 grand. You add 5, you at 21. You might as well go buy a Harley. So the charger, you could order one off Amazon, connect it to the battery, run it up to the handlebars. Like I said, that's not a major issue, but it is one of the issues that I have with it. So that's 4, I believe. Yeah, highway, windshield, foot pegs, highway bars, and charging. Let me refer right back to my list. One more, make sure I'm not leaving anything else out. And the last one is the limited aftermarket accessories for the bike. Like, when it comes to Harley, the aftermarket scene for Harley is, you know, vast. You can buy anything from anywhere. So there's a lot of companies making different things for the bike. So it kind of drives down costs on some of those upgrades because there's competition. You could go with, say for instance, on footboards, you can go with Thrashing, you could go with Flow Motorsports, you could go with any of these companies that make floorboards. So therefore it drives the cost down. But not a lot of companies make a lot of aftermarket parts for the M109. So it makes the price of aftermarket parts just too expensive. Like, to do the pipe, I wanted to do a pipe on there because the sound from that bike factory is just not good. But I'm like, there's not a whole bunch of options, so the price of them is just too high. And then knowing that you can't get the money back once you get ready to sell the bike, it's like, okay, I'm not even gonna do it. So all in all, those five things is what was the deal breaker for me keeping that bike long term. That's the only reason why I decided to get rid of it and upgrade to the Harley. Foot controls, windshield, charger, limited aftermarket, and crash bars, highway bars to add music. So that's pretty much my only reasons for selling the bike. It may work for other people in different circumstances. Like I said, if you're doing long distance rides, that's probably not the bike for you to buy. And I want to do more riding, you know, long distance, like go up to Austin, go to Tennessee on a bike, or Sturgis, try to go to Sturgis for my first time and actually ride all the way there. And that M109 is just not a bike you can accomplish that on. Like, it's just so limited and it's just so outdated. Like, why does that bike not have ABS? Why doesn't it have any digital gauges? Like, the bike's just outdated. All around, it's a good bike for the price. Now, if you plan on leaving it how it is and maybe just doing a pipe and riding it the way it is, then by all means, take the M109, keep up the maintenance on it and ride it. It's a reliable bike, other than the transmission. The transmission on those bikes isn't the best either. That's another gripe. Like, the bike's well made, but there's some weak points on that bike. With anything that you buy, there's always going to be weak points. But all in all, the bike is a good bike, and I'm not saying, and for the powertrain, the motor in that bike is phenomenal. It's like one of the top V-twins you could buy straight out of the factory. Like, so the powertrain on the bike, the power on it is exceptional. You couldn't ask for anything else. But like I said, those few minor things to me was a deal breaker. So that's the reason why I decided to upgrade to a 2022 Roadglide Special. I ended up going to Stub Cycles. What is Stub Cycles on? Telephone Road? I think it's on Telephone Road. So if you're in the market for a bike, you can go hit up JC at Stub Cycles. That's who, you know, did my deal. That was my salesman there. So pretty much I'm a fast forward right now to me arriving at the dealership and just show y'all around what was on the showroom floor when I went, and just a quick overview of the bike, or probably just one quick clip of us before we went to the test drive, and then I'll pull the Harley out for y'all and give y'all a walk around of the bike, start it up, we'll take a look at it. And one more last gripe before I do pull this bike out is that the M109 should have came stock with a LED headlight. Coming from the factory with a halogen headlight, we can't see that well, especially if you traveling at a high rate of speed. You're kind of outrunning your headlights. You can't see down the street where you need to be looking. You kind of only can see what's right in front of you. So I feel like from the factory, that bike should have came stock with a LED headlight or HID headlight, whatever you need to put on there to give me more projection of the light beam, and, you know, be able to get more visibility at nighttime riding. But other than that, like I said, it's a solid bike. It just wasn't the best option for my needs and what I wanted out of a bike. I'm not down in the bike. I'm not saying it's not a bike that you shouldn't buy. I'm totally not saying that at all. But for what I wanted, it just wasn't all there. So here's the footage from the dealership, and I'm gonna pull the bike out for y'all and give y'all another overlook, like I said, and a quick startup. All right, what's up, YouTube? We just made it up here to Stubbs Harley-Davidson. We're gonna take a look at some of the selection they have up here. I already see the bike that I'm looking for, but we're still gonna walk around and take a look at some of the other bikes that they have up here. And then we're supposed to be speaking with JC, I believe it is. And then I guess he'll handle all of the rest of the stuff that needs to be taken care of. But yeah, we just made it up here now. All right, y'all, we getting ready to go on the test drive. I'll give y'all a closer look, but we're about to go get ready to go on the test drive right now. So I just need to bring my key real quick so I can grab my helmet. They had it, went back there and got it cleaned up a little bit, but they should be able to get it taken care of. All right, y'all, here we go. 2022 Roadglide Special in the Reef Blue and Vivid Black colorway. I bought it used with 2,500 miles on it. That's the way I recommend buying, you know, everything. Get a last year's model, something that somebody likely used and, you know, sold for something else or just got rid of. That way you pretty much practically getting a brand new bike, but you're not paying brand new bike price. But, you know, it's pretty much clean. It's a little bit dirty because I've been riding a little bit. Y'all stay tuned for that first ride video, but overall it's pretty much clean. I got a couple smudges and stuff that I need to wipe off of it, but here's a quick overview for y'all. I'll give y'all a start up. It's the stock pipe, so it's not gonna be that loud, but still give y'all a chance to hear it. All right, YouTube, thank you for watching the video. That's gonna be the end of this one. Appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and if you're in the Houston area, leave your Instagram down below in the just in the comments, so that way we can try to get a group ride going, and that'll probably be a pretty cool video. And make sure you stay tuned for the mods I have coming on the truck, on the Harley, and on the Slingshot. Like I said, thanks again for watching, and everybody ride safe out there. Peace.